there, this is Lydia, and today I'll be showing with you how I've created this card step by step. I'll also be showing with you how I created these beautiful dip-dyed burlap die cut leaves. Okay, to start with, I'm going to make the burlap paper. I have this adhesive backed cardstock from Die Cuts with a View, and I'm just going to use a piece of this. I've had this in my stash for ages and I'm finally getting around to use it, but I'm only be using it for burlap paper. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of the paper that I've just shown you, the cardstock, with the adhesive back, and I've got a normal piece of burlap that's just been cut from my stash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back off the adhesive cardstock. It doesn't matter what colour it is because we're just going to be using this side, and I'm just going to place my burlap on top. Now sometimes this doesn't stick that well, but when you run it through your die cutting machine it will adhere it a lot better to the piece of cardstock. And there we go, we have a piece of burlap paper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my big shot. I have it on the multi-purpose platform on tab 2. Sorry about the state of my cutting mat. And then I'm going to take the burlap paper that we've just made. If you wanted to, you could trim around the outside so you know exactly where the adhesive card is, but I'm going to kind of guess. I've got these leaves. These are the stitched leaf dies from Lawn Fawn, and I'm just going to place them on, fingers crossed, on the card bit of our burlap paper. I'm just going to put 4 of them on. These are the 4 larger ones in the set. And then I'm going to place my cutting mat over the top. I'm going to run this through my big shot probably about 6 times. Sometimes, because we're going through all those layers, it might need a bit a bit more force. So I'm just going to run this through a couple of times so it cuts. So I now have my die cut burlap leaves. I ran it through my machine about 6 times to die cut them. I just needed to do a snip on this one here, just on the stalk, with some scissors just to get it out, but just, it's alright, it's cut now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to dip dye them. Well, not really, but it's a bit fake. So I've got just a sticky note, and I'm going to place that along my leaf where I want the colour to be at the bottom. I've tried a couple of different medias. I find though that this one here, this Inca Gold, works really well. So what you do with this is you just apply it on your finger. Instead of pushing it in though, I would dab a little bit and then just make sure it goes into the spaces. So I'm going to do this on all of the leaves in different colours. I've got gold, a copper, a green and a turquoise. I don't know which leaves I'm going to use yet, so I'm just going to do all 4 of them. So once it's covered, just remove the masking tape, and there you have your dip dyed burlap leaf. Once I've finished dip dyeing my leaves, I'm going to move these over to the side to dry. They may take a little while, but as I'm going to be doing the rest of the card now, they should be dry by the time I've finished. I'm going to bring in the main image I've got on my card, and I'm using this set from Waltzing Mouse called We Go Together. I've used the large cup, and I've also placed the really cute face onto it. I've stamped it using Memento ink so I can use Copic markers to colour. Okay, so for the top I'm going to be using E41 and E40. I'm going to start with the darkest one, which is E41, and I'm just going to flick from the sides of the image on both sides. So twist my image around so I can flick there, and I'm just going to go under the bits where I think would be darker, just quickly. And then I'm going to do the same with the E40, but I'm going to go further into the image this time. I'm still leaving the white from my cardstock in this bit here. I'm then going to do the same of going from the darker E41 from the edge of this sleeve, and then I'm going to turn it around again and flick in. I'm then going to grab the E40 again and do the same. I'm not going all the way across this image, as I still want the white, as in with the top and the cardstock. And there we go, super quick. For the brown, I have E49, E47 and E37, and I'm just going to do the same again. I'm going to flick him from the side and go around the bottom of that cap. Do the same there. Flip the image and flick again from the side. Around the bottom. Moving on to E47. Some people go from lightest to darkest, but I find going from darkest to lightest makes it quicker for me. Okay. I'm just going to go on that sleeve with that colour. And then with the E37, oh gosh, with the E37 I'm just going to go over the whole bit that I want brown. This will help the blending. And that's it. Really, really quick. Oh, I forgot your cheeks. I'm just going to use R22. I'm just going to add a couple of dots in. This is the darker, and then the lighter is R20, and I'm just going to go over the whole bit of her cheeks. And there we go. I'm just going to fussy cut that out now. As I fussy cut the image, I'm just going to go around the cut edges with a Copic marker, the black one, which is 100. This just gives a more finished edge to the piece that you've just cut. So I'll just go all the way around. It doesn't take a lot of time, but I feel that it does show a bit more care and attention. For my sentiment, I'm going to be using this set from My Favourite Things called Perk Up, and I'm going to be using this one in the centre, Good Day Start with Coffee and You. I really think that's such a sweet sentiment to send just to someone to brighten their day. At this point I'm not quite sure where my sentiment's going to be, so I'm going to leave that to the end. I've cut 2 pieces of card using the Mama Elephant Femme Frames dies, and these are going to be my card layers. So I'm going to use the first one to arrange my leaves and my little cup. I want him on top of the leaves, so I want like a little pile of them. So I'm just going to play around with these a little and make sure he sits on them properly. Okay, once I'm happy with these, I'm going to stick these down with some foam pads. So, as I said, I didn't know where I wanted the sentiment. I'm going to have a little, I think I'm going to place it right down on the card. It's not big enough, so where I want it, so I'm going to have to move this leaf a little. So, I'm going to put the sentiment straight onto my card. I didn't know where I wanted it before, but now I have a space here, so I can just stamp my sentiment straight onto my card layer. It would have been easier to do before I had put all the foam pads down, but I wasn't sure, so I think we're alright there. There we go. So I wanted to add some twine after I'd stuck the cup down, so all I did is I lifted him up, placed the twine under the pad, and that'll keep it in position as I tie it. I'm then going to add this to the other layer that I cut, and I'm just going to add this on with some foam tape. Just added some double-sided tape to the back of my piece, and I'm adding this to my card, making sure I leave an even border of the card blank around the outside of my scalloped layer. After I got to this stage, I decided I wanted to add some sparkle, so I have some sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and these are the sparkling clear. I have the medium size ones and also the smaller ones, and I've made quite a mess. And I'm just going to add these quite randomly to my card. I'm using some glossy accents because this will make them stick to the burlap and also to my card blank. So I like to push them under my embellishments sometimes just to add a bit more interest. I add them in odd numbers, so it's much more pleasing to the eye. So I've just added my dots now, and then I'll be adding the smaller ones to those. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope you give these die cut burlap leaves a try. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day.